Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. It's Australia versus Sri Lanka happening in Perth. Australia won the toss and put Sri Lanka into bat. Sri Lanka, of course, wanted to score runs, but it seemed like Australia wanted to give them away even more. So they have let Sri Lanka, and there's a reason I'm saying that, they've let Sri Lanka get to 157. Brother, you think this is a fair assessment, saying that as much as Sri Lanka wanted to score, Australia wanted to let them score?
It seems like, it looks exactly like that because there was no, imagine, Michelle Stark not coming on to bowl.
Not opening the bowling.
Not opening the bowling. Then bowls only 1 over at that stage. They're going along pretty well. So they played totally differently. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the score shouldn't have been anywhere close to where it's looking at this moment. It should have been closer to where Badebhai said. And
120 is what he had guessed.
Yeah, there's no way. No, because it's actually becoming very difficult to look at these teams and figure out how they're going to play.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. We had, Ashish Nehra with us. And I think now we'll have to change our algorithm and look at not players and look at who are the coaches with each team. Because it's almost as if there's a style of play. Both these guys were with RCB for a couple of years. And it seems like that because there's no way any team in the world would not bowl with Michelle Stark to start with or not carry on with it. So it almost seemed like what you said, that Sri Lanka from a good position should have got more, but they were put into that good position thanks to the way Australia tried to play this game. And at the end, they gave away those runs.
Yeah, they did. Number 20 coming in the last over. But Harsha, looking at it, I know, if let's say you had walked away from the television in the 13th or 14th over, maybe to make a little meal and come back, and you saw the score at the end of the 20th, and you'd rub your eyes in disbelief, saying, how they get to 157?
And how did they get 31 in the last 2 overs? Yeah. What Ajay is saying is actually borne out by statistics. There was a time, see the last 5 overs they got 51.
Yeah.
So it tells you that till 18 they were actually not even, they were not getting there. Earlier they're hardly going at only one phase where they got 8.6.
Yeah.
But on the Stark issue is an interesting one because they've measured his swing and his swing is actually down from where it was. And as a result, I think he's lost his potency a little bit. But earlier, he used to hardly ever bowl in the middle overs. He was power play 2, death 2. Power play 2, death 2. Yeah. Now he's bowling a lot more in the middle overs. And I think that I wonder if that's because they think his potency is gone a little bit. But I'll tell you whose potency has gone even more, and that's Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking of one of the, if not the best test match bowler in the world on some parameters, but certainly in a short list of 5. I don't know. I'd like to ask Ajay, is this, this look like a test match length to bowl?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those pitches, where, if even within Australia, this one probably ranks the highest at there.
Yeah.
And throughout the game, if you saw, every time there was a test match length or length ball or whatever you may call it, yes, it can be hit for a 6 because you get a little room. But when it's not hit for a 6, it's a dot ball. There's nothing else that happens. And it builds that pressure. It builds, the batsman has to think. There has to be skill that the batsman has to have. Yeah. But suddenly, the last 5 overs, people forget that it's not the same ground, same wicket. It's a very defensive sort of a play that's happening. I think, and it's almost like, okay, 160 is given. You are happy giving runs. Yeah. You're not looking to bowl teams out in conditions like this and the attack that you have. Yeah. Over number 7 is when Agar and Stoinis started. If you're a Sri Lankan or an Indian batsman or some batsman from a subcontinent, you're happy with that. From 6 overs to 12 overs, the game is saying, you do what you want. We are not going to get you out. We are happy with whatever you get.
Yeah, we're just doing the formalities.
And then you get to over number 16, and then you say, okay, now let's start the game. We bring the best bowlers that we have. By now, we have nothing to lose. We'll throw our bats around. If it goes our way, 50, 60. If it doesn't, 40 anyway you're giving. Yeah. So it's all been now left to the first 5, 6 overs.
Yeah.
How you play. The rest of the game is already the computer and the algorithm is playing the game.
We said this at the Combox. We were at the 10 over mark and we were just, forget the score. Forget that they were scoring at whatever, 6.5 in that. And only 1 wicket had fallen. Harsha, Ashish and I were speaking and we said it almost looks like both teams are just waiting. Right? They're just waiting. You don't know what they're waiting for. Christmas, Godot, I don't know what they're waiting for. But they both just seemed that they were just waiting. Nobody was willing to make a move.
Yeah. And Ajay is spot on. When you wait, the batsman will win.
Yeah, good point.
If you don't get him out because he's still there.
Yeah.
Now look, if you look down that scorecard, there's something very interesting. in Australia, on an average, you score 16 boundaries. So they're 2 boundaries short, I think, which is okay, which is not that bad. 2 boundaries short. It's a big boundary. They ran a lot of twos, but 60 balls out of the 120 produced 49 runs.
Yeah.
Now look at Pathum Nissanka. 40 or 45. You can't score 40 or 45 if you want to win the game.
Correct.
What he did as a result was he ensured that wickets were not gone, but he put pressure on all the others. Now, if Asalanka has not got those runs at the end, or if that 5 wides has not gone at the end, you're suddenly looking at 140.
Yep.
Looking at 140, 142.
True.
Now, 60 of the balls produced 49 runs.
Yeah.
So, that Asalanka came good, that he's come out of that period of form. But I just thought they didn't attack him. And I don't think they've got a fifth bowler. I don't think Stoinis is scaring anybody at all.
Yeah.
Mitch Marsh came running in. He was bowling 112, 115. And they had to go back to Maxwell to bowl 1 over. Luckily, he got a wicket, but they had to go back.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling this is a 3-bowler side, one of whom, I mean, it's hard on Ashton Agar to say that if he's bowled 4 overs, 1 for 25. But he's a keep the runs down bowler.
Yeah.
And Cummins is not the bowler that I think he can be. So I think they've let Sri Lanka off the hook. Even then, even though Sri Lanka have made now 157, I still think they're 15 short of a really good score on this track.
Yeah.
But at least they've got to 157.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Australia's got the batting, right? I mean, the Australian captain will look at that batting lineup and say, listen, we've got Agar coming at 8, Wade, who's a genuine match winner, and you've seen him do it in the last World Cup, he comes at 7. And then, of course, there's all those great hitters, right? So even if the captain's not in form, well, he has been getting a few runs now, off late, very recently. But you've got David Warner, Mitchell Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Marcus Stoinis, Tim David. These are 5 of the best hitters in the world of cricket.
Yeah. And 3 left-handers in the top 7.
Yeah.
That's David Warner, Matthew Wade, and Glenn Maxwell.
Nicely done, of course. He has some coach somewhere with a computer has to look at Glenn Maxwell and say, buddy, you're a left-hander. Just play like that because you obviously like it and you get some sixes when you do that as well. The Sri Lankan bowling that is coming out to stop Australia, and hopefully they'll be a little more attacking. Yes, they haven't got those many attacking options with pace, but they have got them with spin. They've got Mahesh Theekshana, who's been in great form. Vanindu Hasaranga, who ends up getting wickets all the time. So, they are there and they'll be looking at that and saying, listen, I don't know, Ajay, I don't know. This is the kind of surface that helps us. But, hey, we've got to make do with what we have.
Yeah, I mean, they've got nothing to lose. They weren't expected to win this game. They're not the side that has to be beaten. It's the side that's coming on to bat now.
Yeah.
Which can, it was one where most people thought it should win this tournament.
It could be pack up today for them. There's a lot of pressure. There's more pressure at 158 because this could be lights out for them.
Yeah, if they get 3-4 down, then that pressure would probably come in. But I don't see too much trouble for Australia because there's enough in there. They've had a bad day against New Zealand. Anything can happen, but I see that, I'll catch my flight tonight.
It will.
Ali.
Because the reason is because Australia has to finish kind of before 20 overs and not drag it out like England did against Afghanistan here in Perth. And if they get it done quick, then Big Brother can run and catch his flight.
Go see my mother.
So have a word with Theekshana and Hasaranga.
Okay.
If Theekshana and Hasaranga bowl well, this game will get dragged out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot will depend on whether they can get wickets early. I have no doubt. I mean, I know Ajay said at the start, will you have to get the spinners to bowl in the power play? I think they are those are the 2 best bowlers.
Yeah.
So they will have to come on in the power play. I think Theekshana will, not Hasaranga. But I think the game depends, even in Perth, on how those 2 go. Binura's medium pacer, if he can get a bit of swing. But I think it's Theekshana who's got to get the wicket early. Get David Warner early.
Yeah.
Because Warner gets set, then those runs are finishing quickly.
Yeah, they are. Well, how many will they get in the power play? That's the guess that we have to make. We, of course, got our guesses wrong. I mean, I came close, but... Sir, by the rules, I have not won. I was 164. This is 157.
You're absolutely right, because what did Bade Bhai say? 15 short there. If they had got, then they would have got to your score. So
no,
that's
if they had got
score.
15 more, they've got to your score, 174.
No, that is winning score then. Your score.
So power
40.
play, come on. 40? Okay.
40. I'll go for 40.
Harsha, you?
Yeah, I'll go a little high. I'll go 47, 48.
Okay.
Because my gut feel is if they try to win in 14, 15 overs, they're in trouble. They've got to say, look, we've got Afghanistan, we've got Bangladesh. We don't have to finish this game in 14 overs.
Ireland.
Let's win this game first.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at... no, sir, let's look at nothing. Let's just get my score in before we have a look at anything else. I'm going to go a little higher, so I'll go 53. I'll say 53.
I'd be happy if you get that.
Yeah, because I want you to catch your flight. I don't want you to miss it. So,
I'm with you.
53 in the power play. All right, that's all we have time for. We'll come back at the end of the 10th over with the Cricbuzz Combox. So we'll have a little update then. So do join us. And then, of course, after the game, we'll come back with Cricbuzz Live one more time. Big thank you to Harsha Bhogle and Ajay Jadeja. I'm Gaurav Kapoor. And this was, and is, and will be Cricbuzz Live.